As the NFL draft approaches, the city of Cleveland is immersed in a climate of anticipation and intense analysis. The Browns franchise, constantly under the spotlight of criticism and the hope of its fans, finds itself at a pivotal moment, one that could shape its future for years to come. The draft strategy has become a true chess match, with decisions that could determine the team's performance and identity on the field. Holding the second overall pick, the Browns have a rare opportunity to make a profound impact on their roster. However, instead of a straightforward and predictable decision, the franchise has operated with an enigmatic stance. The analyses and predictions surrounding Cleveland's pick have fluctuated considerably in recent weeks, reflecting the complexity of the situation and the calculated manner in which the front office is handling the process. Initially, the dominant narrative was the pursuit of a quarterback who could take the reins of the team immediately. This expectation was based both on the need for stability at the position and the abundance of emerging talent in this year's class. With several promising names available, many experts saw selecting a quarterback as inevitable. However, the scenario quickly became murkier. Various sources began to point to other possibilities, shifting the focus away from the quarterback search and redirecting attention to other areas of the roster, particularly defense. The mention of names like Abdul Carter, a linebacker who impressed in his final college season, brought a new dimension to the conversation. Carter is seen as a talent capable of immediately transforming the Browns' defensive unit, bringing aggression, game awareness, and an intimidating presence on the field. Still, even Carter didn't hold the spotlight for long. Soon, Travis Hunter emerged as the most talked-about name, a hybrid prospect capable of playing both cornerback and wide receiver at a high level. Hunter's versatility is rare and highly valued, especially in a league where adaptability and roster depth are crucial for long-term success. His ability to impact multiple phases of the game makes him a potentially revolutionary piece. The fact that Cleveland is seriously evaluating players with such different profiles indicates that the front office is committed to considering all options before making a decision. This openness to multiple scenarios can be read in two ways. On one hand, it shows a strategic and meticulous approach. On the other, it fuels a perception of uncertainty and indecision, which can cause anxiety among fans. However, there's a third possibility that many analysts are now taking seriously. What if all this ambiguity is intentional? There are indications that the Browns are deliberately concealing their true intentions, a tactic to prevent other franchises from adjusting their own strategies based on leaked information. By keeping the market guessing, Cleveland could be creating a more favorable environment for trades and negotiations that improve their overall position in the draft. This kind of psychological game is common in the NFL, especially in the days leading up to the draft. Teams often release conflicting information, conduct interviews with multiple prospects, and test different formations and scenarios during workouts and simulations, all with the aim of creating a fog of uncertainty that makes it difficult for rivals and the media to read their moves. This posture has sparked mixed reactions. While some view the strategy as brilliant and indicative of a winning mindset, others believe that the lack of transparency could undermine the fan base's trust and create tension within the organization, especially if the final decision doesn't meet expectations. It's also important to consider the impact this pick could have not just on the team's on-field performance, but on its organizational culture and public image. A top draft pick often becomes the new face of the franchise, someone who embodies the values and identity the team wants to convey. So the decision goes beyond tactics. It involves symbolic and communicative elements that resonate both inside and outside the locker room. In the case of Travis Hunter, for instance, his media presence and charismatic profile could help reignite fan enthusiasm and draw new attention to the team. On the other hand, Abdul Carter represents a philosophy centered around discipline, strength, and consistency, qualities that also carry significant appeal for both fans and analysts. Meanwhile, the possibility remains that the Browns could still pursue a quarterback later in the draft. Some believe that by selecting an impact player at another position first, Cleveland could trade back into the first round, using later picks or other assets, to grab a promising quarterback who's still available. This dual approach reflects a sophisticated vision of roster building, where talent and market value are strategically balanced. Taking a quarterback too early can be risky, especially if there are doubts about his ability to adapt immediately to the NFL. On the other hand, betting on an elite defensive talent now and pursuing a more reasonably valued quarterback later could result in a more cohesive and competitive roster. Behind the scenes, the franchise is operating at full speed. Scouts, analysts, and executives are deeply engaged in evaluations, draft simulations, and potential trade discussions. The atmosphere is one of high intensity, with everyone aware that a single misstep could jeopardize years of work and planning. Fans, meanwhile, are following it all with a mix of excitement and nervousness. Forums, social media, and sports radio shows are filled with debates, analysis, and speculation about what path the team will choose. Every new statement from a team executive or behind-the-scenes rumor is dissected for clues. Moreover, the impact of draft choices extends well beyond the football field. It also affects the franchise's financial market. Ticket sales, licensed merchandise, and even digital engagement are all directly tied to the level of excitement generated by the team's decisions. A successful draft can spark a virtuous cycle of growth, while a poorly received pick can trigger negative reactions that even affect player performance. That's why now, more than ever, the Browns need to align strategy, analysis, and communication. This is a moment of opportunity, but also one of great responsibility. The draft represents a golden chance to redefine the franchise's path, and every move will be closely watched. Recent NFL history is full of examples of teams that changed their trajectory with a single smart draft pick. Likewise, there are plenty of cases where one poorly calculated decision set a franchise back for years. Cleveland, fully aware of this duality, seems determined not to repeat past mistakes. Still, there's an element of unpredictability that can never be fully eliminated. A player's success in the league depends on numerous factors, from physical and mental health to adapting to the team's tactical system and building chemistry with teammates and coaches. That's why even the most promising pick always carries an inevitable degree of risk. And this is where the courage and long-term vision of the front office become essential. The ability to see beyond conventional metrics, to identify talent, not just in stats, but also in behavior, attitude, and leadership potential, is what sets great organizations apart from the rest. Cleveland's immediate future will be shaped in the coming weeks, but the echoes of this decision will be felt for years. No matter the direction they choose, Travis Hunter, Abdul Carter, a surprise quarterback, or even a strategic trade, what's at stake is far more than just a draft position. This is about building a legacy, laying a solid foundation for a new chapter in the franchise's story. In this moment of calculated uncertainty, the Browns are giving us a true lesson in sports strategy. They're showing that in the NFL's highly competitive landscape, the most impactful decisions aren't always the most obvious ones, and that sometimes it's boldness and vision beyond the horizon that hold the key to lasting success. The draft is coming, and with it, the promise of a new era. In Cleveland, all eyes are on the clock ticking down to the second overall pick. The anticipation is high, the uncertainty is real, and the emotion is inevitable. All we can do now is wait and see what the Browns' next move will be, and how it will forever change the fate of the team and the city it represents. And you, passionate Cleveland Browns fan? Who would be your ideal pick in this draft? Travis Hunter, Abdul Carter, a surprise quarterback, or an unexpected strategic trade? Drop your thoughts in the comments. We want to hear what you think the Browns should do in this crucial moment. If you enjoyed this analysis, don't forget to hit that subscribe button, smash the like, and share the video with fellow NFL fans. Let's follow every step of this journey that could redefine Cleveland's future. Together. Go Browns. See you next time.